this is Brad, and I'm going to take a little look at pelvis motion here this morning. So I've been doing a little research project, kind of going through the segments and joints of the body. Started with the pelvis, did the foot and the ankle, kind of moving our way up from the ground up at this point. So do the shin next and the knee and all that fun stuff. But some of the things that I always like to start with the pelvis, and I didn't know, I wasn't real well versed in it at first, but after looking at a bunch of different models, which is easy to do with gears, you start seeing trends and patterns. So let me share a little bit of what we found. Pull some of these. Leave that hand path on there. So if we look from above, we see these traces, okay? And that's kind of you'll see in really good players, kind of think of their center of mass being pretty much in between their tailbone and their navel. It's more or less their center of mass. And how is that moving through the swing? I know it's not perfect, but that's pretty close, okay? What we see, especially, so guy on the irons is gonna be yellow, driver blue. What we see kind of with both of them is they do shift back a little bit early, but it's very linear. So that line moves very linear. What I see with a lot of guys that fade the ball, they go out toward their toes and then across. They think, well, I'm missing it left, I'm gonna keep pulling it, or I keep missing it right, so I'm gonna keep pulling it left. And that's kind of the opposite of what you need to feel. You wanna feel like your feet are moving very laterally across, or the weight across your feet is moving very lateral. So kind of play this through. See a small shift on the way back. And actually, max shift is about at like that X point, and they actually start moving forward way earlier than most. So even from the top, before their arm gets level to the ground, it's always interesting to see that their hips will literally be square back to the target before their arm gets level to the ground. Okay, so that is a feel, but it's pretty consistent throughout most of the swings that we've looked at and diagnosed. Most amateurs are very late. It doesn't happen until their hands get maybe down to their hips, if it happens at all, honestly. So if you can feel like your lower body is turning and shifting, so you kind of see even at the ball, they've shifted probably 4 to 5 inches forward. Kind of see the sway number from where they've started is 4.5 inches with an iron and 4.6 inches with a driver. So it is similar, not quite the same, but pretty darn similar. And then the thrust is kind of that forward and back. With the driver, they actually go backwards about a 1/2 inch, and with an iron, also back about a 1/2 inch from where they started, okay? So in the pelvis, the role of the pelvis is kind of that bridge between the lower body and upper body. It does guide the shoulders. So if you've got kind of a pelvis motion that doesn't work properly, everything kind of gets thrown off. You lose power, you lose consistency. So pelvis is kind of a key thing. One other thing to note, we'll just kind of look at, I'll take this guy off so you can see this, is the motion that pelvis is making throughout the swing. Kind of see this little trace. So it does glide back a touch, not much, and then it starts going down first. And you can see that guy's going down first, lower than where he started. And then when their hands get to about hip high, now it's ramping up. So if you pull up on a lever, that accelerates, but it's got to be at the right time. So if you're pulling up, that's where they're getting a lot of their speed. If you pull up too early, there's not anything to go or to lift. So it's got to be at the right time. So you'll see this almost little jump, and then on the way through, they come back down and just keep going pretty smoothly through. So same thing more or less happens with the driver. And kind of looking at the difference between irons and drivers, you'll see kind of that same motion in the hips, a little away, down, launch. They actually start coming up about with their hands at their navel with the driver, and they do come up a lot more with the driver relative to an iron. Okay, All right, so hope that helps. A couple quick tips that you can take away from this: get your hips to square up way earlier and get them forward way faster. All right, so hope that helps. And if you have any issues or like to work on your swing, please feel free to reach out and give me a call at 952-401-4653. Look forward to seeing you soon.